Joining me, Craig Larson with the West Bend Baseball Association. This is the second one arriving this morning now.
Yes, the first one came in around 9:15, 9:30. Went in without a hitch. This one's coming in a little bit later on here, and it's a little bit more maneuvering due to the being on the road and some more fencing, but I'm not anticipating any issues. These guys are pretty skilled at what they're doing.
What's the weight on this?
About 10,200 pounds. So they are able to have to extend out a little bit further than they normally would for a project this size. But again, very skilled guys and know what they're doing.
We're standing out here on the new turf. Craig's giving it rave reviews, but is it a little warm out here?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I didn't realize when they joke about how it melts snow so quickly. Now I see why, because it's about 20 degrees warmer on the turf than it is if you're standing on the concrete or on the dirt.
What is this dugout? It's one piece with a roof.
Yeah, we tried to mimic the size of the last dugout that was here, because one of the big things we wanted to do when we built this thing is we didn't want to make anything smaller or less than what it was. We actually wanted to improve everything that we could do. So we found a company out of New York's Smithfield that was able to duplicate the size that we had, also adding in closet space for the city to put in water timers for our irrigation system, and also to keep supplies here for outfield or whatever the city needs.
Is this a step down dugout, or it's flat even with the field?
It'll be flat, and it'll allow space for multiple seating areas. So there'll be a back seating area that'll be against the back wall, and then there'll be a front one against a wall system that's going to be going in later this week. But no, yeah, they'll be flat with two entrance points. So there'll be one on each end of the dugout. There'll be an entrance point for players and field personnel to be able to go in and out.
Is the ivy coming back?
The ivy is not coming back. If you notice, they actually took it off the tennis courts last week. Unfortunately, in Wisconsin and West Bend in particular, we have a Japanese beetle issue that we've been studying extensively with the city, with the people over at Lac La Ronde, Courtney, and with the city. We've been looking at talking to different nurseries and talking to different professionals at UW-Madison and trying to figure out what a solution would be. And unfortunately, we just don't have a solution due to the river and the pond and the woods areas, of figuring out an area of how to get rid of the Japanese beetles who just love the vines and defoliate them and make them look really poor. So we are going to be going with a windscreen, and we have some big plans to honor the city baseball history with those windscreens. So while we do miss out on having the old traditional ivy, to believe it or not, we actually even contacted the Chicago Cubs and seen if they had any solutions for Japanese beetles, but they don't have those issues because they're in the middle of the city. So, but we were, we debated it for years about what we were going to do, and we have some great ideas what we're going to do with some windscreens and really make this place look a little bit modern, but also have a kickback to a nod to the history of the city.
What, you mentioned a flag.
Yeah, it's funny. Any project you do, whether you're building a house or you're building a commercial building, you always tend to forget something. And I'm walking around here the other day just trying to make sure I didn't miss anything, and it hit me that we never planned for where to put the American flag. So we are scrambling a little bit here, trying to come up with some ideas on what to do. Obviously, with a baseball field, you need to have a flag. So we're trying to figure out where we might place a pole, how we go about getting a pole, where, who do we get involved with that. So if anybody has any ideas on who to contact or who to work with in order to get flagpoles, or if we should get multiple flagpoles, please leave a comment or let Judy know, or let someone from the Baseball Association know what you would like to see, and we'll try to make it happen, because on a punch list of things. I can't believe I forgot the American flag, and that kind of is embarrassing, not only for me, but for the project. And I can't believe in 9 years I forgot that American flag.
How's the fundraising going, Craig?
Pretty good. I would say we're right there. All phase one's complete. We're now focused on some of the things that on the punch list, making sure we have enough funding for those. And then we're working on the lights, obviously, which is, phase 2. And then I call phase 3 the way out phase 3, and we'll be fundraising for that. So we have a fundraiser coming up, one unannounced, that will be involving Jeff Spirits on Main. Jeff is obviously an amazing steward of the community and part of the baseball association. What foundation is he not a part of? And he's got a plan working with his son Brian and his daughter Sarah on something that they'll be doing at Jeff Spirits. And then also on Friday, November 5th, we're going to be having Kevin Bozeman, one of the nation's best comedic stand-ups in the entire country. He's absolutely phenomenal. So good, in fact, that he's going to be opening up the new Improv down in Brookfield, and they could have picked anybody, and they've picked guys like Jay Leno and Attell and Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle to open up other clubs throughout the country, and they picked Dave Chappelle to open up the one here in Wisconsin, and he's graciously coming up to West Bend to do 2 shows, Friday and Saturday, but the one on Friday will be directly for every single cent we get in on that day will be towards the West Bend Baseball Association in this project. What
should we watch for next? You said the field will be seeded and lights?
Yeah, lights hopefully by next spring. This coming up this week, we'll see the rest of the field seeded. It'll be hydro seeded by the H&H crew here. Hopefully later this week, you'll see the rest of the fencing get completed, the rest of the gates. We're hoping the rest of the grandstand gets fully enclosed and finished off. And then you'll see some of the other just little small things start being taken care of, like the base pegs and some of the things with the press box that are still to be done. But all the tall, big things, all the major installs should be complete by the end of the week.
Quick media question. So Wi-Fi in the press box?
The plan, we're hoping to bring cable across. It's one of those deals. You deal with a local cable company. It doesn't matter if you're with the city or with the baseball association. It's usually an hour and a half process of getting stuff done. But yeah, we're hoping to have cable into the park, not only for the baseball field, but I believe the city's looking forward to getting towards the bathhouse and other parts throughout the park too.
Your overall review on how this project turned out, even with the hoop jumping behind the scenes?
I'm pleasantly surprised with how much things have come together as quickly as they did. I mean, for something that took for me, I've been a part of it for over 9 years, to see this come together from their early March to now is phenomenal. So far I have no complaints. We picked a great contractor who's done nothing but great things for this community. In fact, I think they're actually talking about, as they do more work down south, they're actually looking to maybe open up something in West Bend area because this community's been so good to it. And I look around and I'm trying to make sure that we balance making sure this thing's around for, the next generations, but also make sure we're not, disgracing or disrespecting the past generations. And that's hard sometimes when you read the comments and videos or news stories and stuff like that, but it looks great.
We're just going to pan. So this is the chain link fence, cyclone fence, and then the billboard is, the scoreboard's staying?
Scoreboard is staying. It's going to get renovated a little bit, cleaned up, because it looks like someone lit it on fire. But that's just the natural sun just fading things out, but we'll have someone there here before the start of next season to make sure that those things are taken care of.
How do you like the turf? Hey, you're spinning with me.
Yeah.
How do you like the turf? Have you run on it? Have you tried running?
We actually played catch on it the other day, so I mean, I love it. It's going to bring so much playability, no concerns about raining games out, which is going to be a huge thing for this city, especially with spring baseball. It's going to be amazing for whoever's the next coaches at East and West to have an ability to play baseball in April when everybody else is raining games out or snowing games out.